This fragrance was inspired by the velvety warmth of the Tuscan countryside, a place of wondrous beauty, majestic rolling hills, a mosaic of fields, the delectable fragrance of 1,000 gardens sweeping to the sea. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Luke and here on this channel we talk about perfume, fragrance, scent. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. As you already know because you clicked on this video, today I'm reviewing Tuscany by Donna from Estée Lauder, originally released by Aramis. So let's start with a very brief history of this fragrance. It was introduced by Aramis, which was a division of Estée Lauder. They decided to launch Tuscany for women because of the success of the original Tuscany, Tuscany for men, which was very popular back in the day. So they decided to make a female version and they released this one. It came out in 1992. Some websites state 1993, so it's not entirely clear, but my best guess would be that it came out in late 1992 and then it was officially released in 1993. According to cleopatrasboudoir.blogspot.com, they distributed nearly 80 million samples delivered through magazines, mail and in stores because they wanted to promote this fragrance. And they also held a very lavish launch party in September of 1993. They invited 100 journalists and friends to Italy. They all travelled business class and they stayed in Florence in different 5-star hotels. And they also held a private 6-course candlelight dinner at a private 16th century palazzo outside the city of Florence. So these launch parties back in the day were so incredibly lavish. I remember that Yves Saint Laurent organised an expensive yacht party for the launch of Opium and lots of celebrities were invited. But you know, those days are gone and now we're just releasing flanker upon flanker. Anyway, as I said, Aramis released Tuscany by Donna in 1992 and then in 1994 it was re-released by Estée Lauder solely under the Estée Lauder name. Everything remained the same. The fragrance was the same. They just released it under Estée Lauder. I don't know why. The fragrance was discontinued in the early 2000s and then in 2015 it was relaunched as part of the House of Lauder collection, which was a collection of their classic fragrances. I believe some of them are still available, some have been discontinued, but this one has been discontinued maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I could still find it in stores maybe a year ago. I'm still kicking myself for not picking up a bottle, by the way. But I did manage to find this vintage bottle from the early 90s, actually. I managed to find this on a second-hand website, completely by coincidence. It was very affordable. I paid around £25 or €30 for it. And I had it shipped to someone in the UK who then brought it to me. So it was very complicated, but it did get to me eventually, and I only paid about €30. So it was an amazing, amazing deal. I'll never be able to find it for such a good price ever again. If you want to get a vintage bottle on eBay, you'll have to spend anywhere from £90 to £300, depending on the size, but these are incredibly expensive. The 2015 version used to be available for around £50 to £60 on discounter websites. So it wasn't too expensive. If you can still find it, pick up a bottle. If I can find it, I'll pick up another one because I love this fragrance. I adore it. This is one of the most... So let's talk about the notes, the fragrance, what feelings it evokes, where it takes us. So Tuscany is a floral oriental a woody floral oriental. It's a warm 90s style floral sandalwood scent. It was inspired by the Italian countryside, and it's soft, sensual, warm, rich, sweet, luminous, but also very elegant and powdery. It's an absolute classic and an absolute masterpiece. This is timeless Italian elegance in a bottle. It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. It's a hidden gem. No one talks about it. It's severely underrated, in my opinion. The main notes or accords that I smell in this fragrance are florals, sandalwood, and stone fruit, mainly the peach and the plum. This is a mature, sophisticated, and sensual scent. It's fruity, it's floral, but it's also ambery and very woody and powdery. The sandalwood in this is creamy, dusty, and the florals and fruits are what makes it powdery and sweet. It's very well blended, in my opinion. It's got just the right amount of everything, the right amount of florals, of woods, of ambery notes. It opens with a burst of freshness, but the sandalwood and the vanilla take over immediately. So it goes straight from the opening to the dry down. The florals sing for about 3 to 4 hours, but the dry down is where the magic happens. It's sweet, it's creamy, it's vanillic. The dry down is just gorgeous. People compare this to Samsara by Guerlain, as well as Chanel Allure. And I have to say, it definitely reminds me of Samsara, and it also reminds me of Allure. But this fragrance is a scent of its own. It's different. Samsara is very screechy on my skin, especially the newer formulation. This one, oh my goodness, this is pure poetry. As soon as you spray this on your skin, it's stunning. From the moment you spray it to the moment it disappears, it's stunning. I prefer this to Samsara, but Tuscany is more floral, sweeter, more refined in my opinion, especially the vintage version of Tuscany compared to the current formula of Samsara, which is the one I have. I don't own vintage Samsara, but I'm sure it used to be much nicer than the current formula, which is kind of screechy in the opening. So that's why I prefer Tuscany to Samsara. So some of the main notes that I can detect include the peach, the plum in the opening, ylang ylang, jasmine, carnation, honeysuckle, rose. I can smell amber, vanilla, and sandalwood. And not all of these notes are listed on the Estée Lauder website. Some of them are only listed on Fragrantica. But according to the Estée Lauder website, the notes are as follows. Top notes, rose, muguet, citrus, and herbs. Middle notes, jasmine, carnation, honeysuckle, and peony. And base notes, sandalwood, amber, and vanilla. So sandalwood, amber, and vanilla are basically what makes this fragrance absolutely gorgeous. The base dominates the entire composition. Yes, you can smell the florals and you can smell the citruses and the herbs in the opening, but this fragrance is all about sandalwood and vanilla. When you think of Tuscany and when you think of summer fragrances, you don't really think of sandalwood and vanilla, do you? So with a fragrance called Tuscany, you would expect maybe a citrusy, an aromatic scent. But Tuscany is not that. Tuscany is a beautiful floral, woody, vanilla fragrance. So if you like fragrances like Samsara, if you like fragrances like Chanel Allure, check this one out. You won't regret it. It was a blind buy for me. I was 99.9% sure I would end up loving it. And I did, because, I always end up loving fragrances that are discontinued. I never end up loving fragrances that are available. So, this is just, it's a curse. And it happens to me all the time. But I'm so glad I got this. This 30ml bottle will last me a very long time. The performance is not excellent. It's okay. It's above average for sure. It lasts about 6 to 7 hours on me. The opening makes you think that this would be a powerhouse, but it's not a powerhouse. It's very strong in the opening, but as soon as it dries down, it's a very mellow scent. So maybe my vintage bottle has gone off. I don't know. It smells good to me, but maybe it just doesn't perform as good as it used to. I don't know that. I know what my experience is, and on me, this lasts about 6 to 7 hours on me. So it's not the strongest fragrance in the world. Is it gorgeous? Absolutely. So this was my review of Tuscany per Donna from Estée Lauder. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have this fragrance, or if you don't, just let me know what you think of Samsara or Chanel Allure, or just let me know your scent of the day. I love chatting with you in the comments. I always reply to your comments. So thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in one of my next videos. Bye.